Hello, hello, hello. I hope all of you are well. I am multitasking right now, and I hope and pray that everyone out here is doing good, is doing good. Thank you for stopping by the Counseling Corner tonight, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. I hope that my sound is okay. And if it is, I'm going to ask my dear moderator, my best moderator, the best moderator in these YouTube streets, and they need to go ahead and give me a number one to let me know that my sound is okay. Let me know that my sound is okay. All right. She says it's okay. So we great sound, she says. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I'm trying to turn on to make sure my visual is good. So bear along with me for 1 second. All right, all is well. Everything seemed to have just blacked out on me. I've been having that situation all morning, on our broadcast on the Sheila Ingram ministry network. It was going off a little bit, but you know what? We pressed through. Pastor Rosa and I pressed through this morning as we were bombarded with a whole lot of technical difficulties. But listen, we are going to chat tonight because it's the counseling time. It's time to talk about some things that I'd like to talk about. Those of you that know me know that I am totally interested in the part of the man that we sometimes don't deal with. We don't face it. We face all of this, but sometimes life continues to drive at us. And sometimes we just get into a shell or get into a space where we just keep rolling along and rolling along, not stopping, pausing, and reflecting. And I'm always interested in the inward part as well as the outward part of women and men. But a lot of times I'm privy to always speak about the internal things that try to either shout at us or love on us. And there's two worlds going on inside of us if we're believers, right? And so if you're not a believer, that's okay. You're dealing with the same exact situation where life keeps life and things keep happening. And so I'm so interested in relationships and how they are surviving, how they're moving forward, and some of the things that sometimes we don't wrap our mind around, we don't quite understand. But tonight we're going to deal with some things. I waited to see how I could pull some things together. I did a lot of searching for some notes and everything. So as you see me looking down, I'm always looking down and up at you and just looking at my notes so that I could be accountable to what I say. And I hope that you will receive some of the things that I'll talk about today. Trust me, these are things that I incorporate in my own life. These are things that I've run into as I've lived life and continue to live life. And so we're talking about something so important. We're talking about mental bonds and soul ties. Now, we've covered soul ties and we've touched on some things with the mind. But tonight, I want to talk about the comparison and the likeliness and what mental bonds are, as well as soul ties. And what I'm going to be doing is looking down at my notes, pulling up, and then we're going to go through some bullets. This is a night of bullets, bullets, bullets. And then we'll wrap it all up, right, as we talk about mental bonds and soul ties. So call a friend, text a friend, tell them to pop on. They might be able to get some of these jewels if they come on into this space. I am so happy to see you guys in the chat. Thank you for being here. I'm going to acknowledge you soon. Those of you in the expensive seats, those of you who bought that expensive ticket and didn't want to come down to the lower level with us, it's okay. We're happy that you're here. All we ask is that everyone hits that like button. Also subscribe to the channels. I will say we are streaming on two channels today, this evening. We're streaming on the Bravo with Sheila network, and we're streaming on the Sheila Ingram Ministry network, because I felt that this topic was for all people. Whether you're a believer, not a believer, it doesn't matter. I felt that I needed to stream it on both channels so that both worlds can have what we're talking about tonight. So I want to talk about the mental bond versus soul ties, understanding the difference, And so while both mental bonds and soul ties represent a great connection and between individuals as if it's the same. It may be similar, but they differ. They differ significantly. I want to hear you say the word significantly, in their nature, their origin, and their potential impact. We're talking about impact. We're talking about relationships in terms of this counseling piece, so that we can move forward and understand more some of the things that we might be experiencing, you might be experiencing or have been experiencing, and you can't put that finger on it. I'm one that know that when you can put a finger on it, that's the beginning of process. That's the beginning of understanding, and it gives you something to work with. Many times people come in for counseling and they really can't put a finger on what's wrong, although they know something is not right on the inside. Most times it's about relationships. A lot of times, listen, relationship with yourself, right? It doesn't have to be another person. Your relationship with yourself is prime. It is one thing that we need to work on so that we can what? Segue into relationships with other people on a healthy level and a healthy state. So let's go through these bullets and let's talk about it. Y'all can go ahead and talk in the chat. Send me whatever you need to send. Just participate. If something rings a bell, if something ministers to you or something rings inside of you and you resonate with what I'm saying, then go ahead and talk back to me. Go ahead and talk back to me. I want to say good evening once again to the best moderator in these YouTube streets. That is Enania. I want to bless her because she's always here. She's my day one. I see my niece in the chat, Landon. Hello. Thank you for being here. Listen, and again, those of you who are up in the expensive seats, thank you once again for being here. Let's start out with mental bonds. And nature. Let's break down bullets. I've written down bullets and I took some time with this to break down the specific areas of both mental bonds and soul ties. So mental bonds, let's talk about the nature of a mental bond. Primarily psychological and emotional connections formed through shared, listen to me, shared experiences, thoughts, beliefs, and consistent interaction. They are built on cognitive and emotional resonance. Okay. So this is the nature of the mental bond. Let's move to the formation. How is it formed? The formation developed through spending time together, communicating deeply, sharing vulnerabilities, intellectual stimulation, and mutual understanding. Okay. These bonds can be strong and positive, fostering intimacy and support. That is the formation. We said what the nature of a mental bond is, but now we're talking about the formation. Let's move to the characteristics. All right. The characteristics often characterized by shared interests. These are mental bonds, the relationships that we have daily that sometimes we can't even understand what it is. So now we're talking about it. The characteristics often characterized by shared connections and interests, mutual respect, empathy, intellectual connection. These are things in relationships that you have daily, weekly, whenever in your life at one point or time or another. And emotional support. These are the characteristics, yes, of mental bonds. And they can evolve and they can change over time as you get older, as you evolve, as you grow, as you don't grow. How this is affected with these mental bonds, and grow in the circumstances and the shift that might happen in someone's life. Let's talk about the potential downsides of this, because everything has an upside and a downside. So the potential downsides, listen to me, can become unhealthy, listen, if they lead to codependency, excessive reliance on the other person for validation. Come on now, many people struggle with this. Or an inability to maintain individual identity. I tell you, this is a biggie. I deal with this so much in my counseling sessions. The identity, they don't know identity. They can't put fingers on anything that they're dealing with, and even platonic relationships. These are things that haunt people sometimes. These are things that stagnate people sometimes. Negative mental bonds can involve patterns of manipulation, control, or constant conflict. Listen, we could park there all night because that there is something that is so prominent in the lives of so many people. This whole thing about not knowing who you are, this whole situation about validation that you need from other people, and the inability to understand who you are as an individual. So that is the negative downside of mental bonds, the negative downside. Listen, to break it, we have to also understand, how do I change? Because some people are dealing with this in silence. Some people know this about themselves, but are too embarrassed, too ashamed to speak about it. You have people who are so intellectually smart. They have great, powerful jobs. So many people that do so many different things that people expect them to show up 100% all the time, which causes people to refrain from dealing with the inner self or sharing so that they can have some help in situations. So I'm here tonight to share with you some of the things that you might be dealing with or might have dealt with. And so that downside, the potential downside of mental bonds is so deep, because what it does, it leads you to codependency. Codependency can haunt you. Codependency is an enemy. Codependency is an enemy to your very soul. I'm telling you, codependency will have you doing everything, helping everybody, fixing the fixer. Listen to me. You have to deal with yourself in order to get to that next level of where you're trying to reach. Not so much in your corporate world, not so much on your job. I'm talking about you for you. You getting to that point that you need, that only you can really know about. All right. So let's keep going. So you can easily, broken. Let me tell you this, generally more easily broken or adjusted through conscious effort. This is how you can, the breakability of it. Communication. Another thing that can help us and help us always is setting boundaries. So many people forget about boundaries in relationships. They get laxed in it. They let people just move all over them, or they just take themselves in spaces they shouldn't go. There must be boundaries in our lives. There must be a boundary. And what happens is loving people and being in love causes people to get so caught up in the mood, in the moment, in the feeling. They forget that they're inside of a situation where they don't have set what they want, what they don't want, what they will accept, what they will accept. And before you know it, the boundaries are broken. So boundaries are healthy for both men and women. And sometimes physical separation. Sometimes you just need a break if you're in a relationship and things are muddy. Things are just very muddy. And this is even not just a relationship, and just a platonic relationship. Sometimes friends have to step back from each other. Yeah, sometimes brothers got to step back from each other in order to sustain a relationship so that it can go further. And that's one of the problems, that people accept so many things from so many people in their circle, and they want to say certain things, but they refrain because they don't want to risk losing their relationship. But the only way for you to grow and for the people that are around you to grow is to have a great conversation. If something is said that bothers you, don't harbor it. Speak about it, talk about it, and don't come at people, real rough and tough. Just come in a loving way and chat with a person if this relationship is worth saving. Let's talk about soul ties. Soul ties. We've talked about soul ties so much, but we've never compared them. We've never, ever compared them to the mental bonds, right? So soul ties, let's talk about the nature, the same way we talked about the nature of mental bonds. Let's break down the nature of a soul tie. Now, some people don't believe in soul ties, and that's okay. Some people don't understand or believe that it has a spiritual connotation. They don't believe that. It doesn't matter. A soul tie is a soul tie. So the nature believed to be deeper spiritual connections that transcend the purely psychological and emotional. Transcend. They are often described as energetic or spiritual links between souls. The soul is the place where we harbor hurt. The soul is the place we harbor childhood pain and trauma. The soul is the place that will speak to you and tell you, delete yourself, because the soulish nature is not anything tied to spirit. It's the soulish nature that makes you feel depressed and reminds you of so much. It's connected to the mind, and we know the mind is a powerful thing. So let's look at the formation. The formation, often associated with intense, listen to me, intense emotional experiences. I didn't say that about mental bonds, right? Correct. Significant life events shared, trauma bonding, and particularly intimate physical relationships. Listen, as the exchange of energy is considered profound on a soulish level. I know that I've talked about this before, about a soul tie. Now I'm going to flip right, go across the street in my head right now to the Christian side. The soul tie represents a tie where people don't understand when they lay with the other sex and they transfer fluids, especially the blood in the man's fluid. That becomes a covenant because there's a blood covenant. And so when that happens, you wonder why can't I get over this person? Why is it like 7 years, 6 years later, and I see the person and I jump and go, oh my God, your heart start pitter-patter? Because a soul tie has to verbally be broken because you carry that. So that's a spiritual side of it. A lot of people don't believe that, but it is so true. If you think about relationship and how people sometimes that sleep together, they cannot separate without having some type of trauma. I mean, I don't know, we could refer it to Fatal Attraction if you've ever seen that movie, or you might think of something else where someone just couldn't let go because that tie was so very close. All right. That was a sidebar for you. Now I'm bringing it back right here to the natural on the Bravo channel. All right. Even though I'm streaming on both channels. So the soul tie, the characteristics, I said that to you. The ties can persist even when the physical relationship ends. This is the characteristics of it. It can feel intensely binding. Oh my, some of you out there know what that's like. You break up with someone you're so in love with. When you break up with them, your heart feel like it's in your stomach. Your nerves are bad. You're aching from pain because of the love, because of what you feel for that person, the deepness. And this doesn't happen all the time with every relationship, but there are those relationships where you go so deep into a person, breaking free from them is very difficult to do, especially negative soul ties formed through toxic or abuse relationships. I've counseled many domestic violent, male and female, and because of this situation, no matter how much abuse they were getting, no matter how much mental, physical, and emotional abuse they were dealing with, for some reason they wanted to break free, but they could not. They tried. They would go home. They would do what they have to do in terms of separation. And the next time they come back to me, they're weeping because they couldn't stay away. These are things that people can't express. Really, it's an emotional thing. So I don't know why people say this is not important, because it really is. And I have so many people that I've had to counsel, especially the DV people, because they are so stuck based on their history too. If they watch their parents get DV, if they watch this happen, that happen, and then the learned behavior and the environmental impact kind of shapes them, and it's harder for them to move on. So we don't want negative soul ties. We want positive soul ties. And so the characteristics feel intensely binding. Listen, often involving a deep sense of knowing the other person, an inexplicable pull on longing and feeling of being intertwined on a fundamental level. These ties, can persist even when the physical relationship ends. Yes, indeedy, it can. It can. And I always give the example when you're in the mall with your new boo, your new husband, your husband, or whatever, and you had this deep, deep relationship with this other person, and that person happens to bump into you in the mall, and all of a sudden you get, whoo, your heart starts to, your heart is like you feel like yesterday with that person. That shows that there's still a strong connection with that individual. And that happens all the time. Obviously, the person that you're with don't know that you're experiencing that, but you recognize that you're experiencing that. Let me go on to the potential downsides. Can be particularly challenging to break. It is so, so true, especially negative soul ties formed through toxic or abusive relationships. These can leave individuals feeling energetically drained, emotionally down, and messed up to the past. It's just constantly like clawing, for a lack of a better term, just clawing at them. Amen. So this is something we have to understand, and hindering everyone's ability to move forward and form healthy new connections. This grip will grip you. I'm telling you, it'll grip you. And those of you who have had some strong relationships and you understand, if you're an adult, even young people have these areas. We're going to touch a little bit on that in a few minutes. So we understand that this leaves individuals feeling energetically drained. So unhealthy soul ties can manifest and persistent thoughts. Emotional flashback. Have you ever had a flashback? Have you ever had a flashback? I know you had a flashback. I've had a flashback. Everybody get a flashback every now and then. You've had a flashback. I know you have. And let me continue. So that flashback, that's a heavy thing, the flashback. And so also what happens with this is, it's difficult to detach emotionally. It's just difficult to detach. All right. So let's talk about the breakability. It often requires more intentional and sometimes spiritual practice to sever, such as, here's a biggie, forgiveness. Of self and others. You must forgive yourself. You must say, self, I am sorry what I've allowed to happen to you. But self, I'm taking care of you now. I forgive myself. You must forgive yourself for whatever you thought the relationship was going to be, and it didn't turn out to be that. You must forgive yourself, or else you'll be stuck in that space, trying to move forward. But you must forgive yourself. That's a big one. Energetic cleansing. This is how some people deal with clearing out these negative soul ties, right? Cutting, a cord cutting. Listen, they say cord cutting. I've done many soul tie burnings with people, with young girls and women, older women, middle-aged women. I do a program, and the last part of the program is the soul tie burning, where every one of the women write down everything, every person, everything that they've attached themselves to, right? They write it down on a little sheet of paper, each one, and they put it into a safety pin, right? They have that thing on a safety pin. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10 on the safety pin, and they pin that to the bra strap, to their bra strap, and they wear it for a week, and they prepare to come to burn them, because it's a process to get rid of certain things that mean a lot to you. It may have things that you have from someone, and you harbor that thing, that necklace, that thing that you hold on because it's the only thing I have from him, where you have certain pictures. Oh my God, this was our best picture. But yet those things take you back. They don't move you forward. And so things can become really attached to you. And so you have to learn how to release things that no longer serve you. So at this point with this procedure and this process, we take those soul ties and they come to this, the lesson before last, and we burn them. We burn them in a flaming fire, one girl at a time, one girl at a time. And they're in separate rooms. They're in the delivery room, they're in the waiting room, they're in the labor room. And it's when it's their turn, they walk out. I'm standing there next to them, and they're ready to let go. And they throw it in the fire. And you should see the deliverance. You should see the releasing of those things that had them bound. So soul ties are important. And I've seen the examples of it. I've seen, so many prosperous things happen from doing things like this. So some people do a soul tie burning or cleansing. All right. And some people, let me see, what else do I have here? Some people pray. Some people renounce and denounce. That's a good one for renouncing, that I no longer will do this thing, and denouncing that thing that came and robbed you and took things from you. It's a spiritual cleansing. It's a spiritual mindset. All right. I hope you're understanding. I hope you're liking what I'm talking about. And sometimes people just need to seek spiritual guidance, talk with someone to help them through a season of feeling like they're trapped in a cycle of depression or trapped in a cycle of the past. All right. So in essence, think of mental bonds. This is what I want you to think of as illustration in your mind. Think of mental bonds as the strong ropes that tie two ships together. Stop, pause, and reflect. Think of two ships tied together with two strong ropes. I want you to think about that. All right. Okay. They are allowing for a connection. The boats are allowed for connection because of the ropes, and they travel together. They travel together, but can be untied if necessary. Those ropes can be untied if necessary. But, say but, I heard you. Soul ties, on the other hand, can be likened to anchors. When you drop an anchor deep into the ocean floor, creating a more profound and often more difficult connection that you can't get past. Think of those two illustrations. The two ropes, the two boats in the night in the ocean, they're moving, they're tied together, right? But one thing about those boats, that they can be severed like poof, right away. The soul tie is not that easy. That's why the illustration is that it can be likened to anchors dropped into the ocean floor, creating a more profound and more difficult connection. That is so deep when you reflect on that. When you reflect on that, let's keep it moving. I'm going to look at some of these comments soon too, because I see you are talking back and I love it. I love it. Let's talk about older people. Let's talk about maybe someone my age. I'm a seasoned citizen. Don't get it totally twisted. I'm a seasoned citizen. What about someone a little older or a little younger than me, right? We're talking about older people. Let's just put it there. When their mental bonds. So over a lifetime, older adults accumulate numerous mental bonds with family, friends, and partners. These bonds often provide immense comfort, companionship, and a sense of continuity. However, say however, I heard you. However, the loss of these individuals can create significant emotional distress, especially if the mental bond was very strong. Unresolved negative mental bonds with family members can also persist and cause ongoing conflict. Now, this is really deep for older people, because as you progress in age, your lenses change, your mindset changes, your needs change, your desires change, everything shifts. So those of you that are young folk out there, just keep living, because everything will evolve and you will be at this stop sooner or later. So mental bonds over a lifetime, I know that even with my husband being murdered, and that was a long time ago, I still think of it as if it was yesterday. I still vividly see him being shot. I vividly have these thoughts sometimes that I have to shake my head and move away because it was a serious, positive mental bonding that we had together. All right. So there are different ways because now companionship is important. Different things are important to people who have mental bonds in an older age. Soul ties, long term, deeply intimate soul ties, particularly marriages, often forge strong soul ties. They do, they do, they do. If you read the word of God, it'll tell you that he says, I want you to leave your mama and your papa and cleave to your wife. She is the one that you cleave to. What does the word cleave mean? Think about it. Yes. So it's a deeply intimate relationship. The loss of a spouse with whom a soul tie exists can be profoundly painful, involving a deep sense of loss and goes beyond the emotional. Conversely, positive soul ties with loved ones can provide a sense of enduring connection and peace even after physical separation. So it matters how the soul tie, was it a positive soul tie? I've seen many women my age, maybe not my age, even younger, who's lost a loved one, and they can survive quicker in terms of shifting their emotions to live without their spouse because they had such an incredible soul tie with them, and they can reflect on the great things, the good things, which charges them to live, charges them to want to continue on with life. For me, I was so young, I didn't know how to manage. I didn't know where to place that. I was so young, left with two little girls, a widow, right? Had been married 4 months, but had the relationship with my husband for 3 years. So traumatic things will always happen in life. It's how we process it, how we stop, pause, and reflect. How do I deal with this? Where do I go for help? I need to understand how to move forward. All right. Now, I didn't get any help when I became a widow because back then my mother was like, I'll love her. She's good. I got her, which was the wrong thing. It was the good thing, kind of a right thing. But I needed someone to untangle my mind and tell me what had just happened because it was traumatic, what I had experienced. But back then, our mothers and fathers thought, I got her. I'm going to love her. She's going to be okay. And years later, that stuff began to fester and show up in my life. And I finally realized what I had to do for me. And so that's why I'm speaking to you from experience as well as from the knowledge that I've had, as a counselor. And this, I meant to say this broadcast is for informational purposes only. All right, let's move and get it going so we can tie it up. All right, we did soul ties. Let's talk about people in general. Positive mental bonds. These are the foundations of healthy relationships, providing support, understanding, and joy. They contribute to all of our overall well-being and resilience. Positive mental bonds. Do you have any relationships like that? Negative mental bonds can lead to anxiety, depression, codependency, and difficulty setting healthy boundaries. There's that word again, healthy boundaries. They can trap, listen to the word, they can trap individuals. Listen to me. They can trap individuals in unhealthy relationship patterns. We don't want unhealthy patterns. We want healthy patterns. Let me keep it moving. Positive soul ties can be a source of deep love. Yes. It can be a positive source of deep love, spiritual connection, and enduring support. They can enrich our lives and provide a sense of purpose. That's what we want. That's what we strive for. That's what we need. And then, we have the negative soul ties. Listen to me. It can be incredibly draining. My God, keeping individuals stuck in their past, toxic individuals, unresolved trauma. They can hinder personal growth, self-love, and the ability to form healthy new relationships. Individuals, listen to me, may experience intrusive thoughts. Emotional flashbacks. There's that word again, y'all, that flashback. And a feeling of being energetically linked to the other person, even when physically apart. I tell you, when this thing happens to so many people and they find themselves, they cannot move on. They can't move forward because they feel stuck inside somebody else's heart. They feel stuck inside of somebody else's being. Oh my. They lose the identity of who they are. So I'm hoping that this is making sense. And those of you that will come after, it'll make sense to you. Now let's tie up getting rid of or getting better with mental bonds and soul ties. Let's go through this quickly. Dealing with mental bonds, strengthening healthy bonds, nurture them with open communication, quality time, shared experiences, and mutual respect. Practice active listening and empathy. Weakening unhealthy bonds, awareness. Recognize the unhealthy pattern and the negative impact they have on your well-being. Communication. Communication clearly and assertively. Communicate your needs and here's the bird with the capital B. What is it? I heard you. Boundaries. You must have boundaries. Boundary setting you must have. Establish and maintain healthy emotional and physical boundaries. You must do this for yourself. Developing independence. Come on now. Focus on your interests, your goals, and your self-care to reduce reliance on the person for validation. That's a biggie. All right. Therapy and counseling. You can seek that always to help you process unhealthy patterns. And so I think I'm going to tie it up right there. Let me see what time it is. I'm going to tie it up. Let me see if I can go a little bit. You know what I want to do? Let me just go through this breaking or healing soul ties. It often requires a more intentional. So this soul tie thing is more intentional. Acknowledge the soul tie. You got to acknowledge I'm stuck. You got to acknowledge I can't get over him. You can't just tuck him away inside it and compartmentalize him inside of you and close the door like he doesn't exist or she doesn't exist. Come on now. You can't play games with your inside, with your spirit and your soul. Acknowledge the time. Recognize that a deep, energetic connection exists. Just recognize it. That's step one. Just the process of getting yourself better in this. Forgiveness. Here's a biggie that many people struggle with. Forgive yourself and the other person involved. This is crucial for releasing the emotional, charge associated with the tie. There's an emotional charge associated with the tie. Yes, it is. Forgiveness doesn't condone harmful behavior, but frees you from its grip. Come on now, you got to get free from the grip. You got to take that ball and chain off your ankle and stop dragging it around everywhere you go. You got the ball and chain on your ankle. You just going about your business, but it's still on your foot. Come on, you got to get rid of that. Break that chain. Break the chain. Cord cutting. I talked about that. This can be through meditation or just sitting with yourself or praying or reclaiming your energy. You can pray. You have spiritual practices. You can pray. You can talk to people of different faiths, no matter what faith you are, to help you through. I'm telling you, this is something. Setting intentions. I want you to have love, self-love, and healing. Focus. I want you focus. Focus on nurturing yourself, healing past wounds, and building a strong sense of self-worth. I want your chest up. I want your head up high. I want you walking in spaces and places, reclaiming who you are, reclaiming and taking back your power and bringing you back to center and align with yourself. Yes, 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 and yes. Clearly state your intention to release the soul tie and move forward with your life. Like I said, you can get guidance from therapy and those that you talk to. I want you to always have time and patience for yourself. Be patient, please. Be patient. Healing from deep bonds, especially unhealthy ones, takes time and consistent effort. Please, I beg you, be patient with yourself. Please. Self-compassion. Avoid self-blame. Stop blaming yourself. It happened. It's over. You cannot unscramble a scrambled egg, so keep it moving. Because when nothing changes, nothing changes. So just make that little change. Do something you've never done before about you and with yourself concerning what we're talking about today. Is it easy? Maybe for some, maybe not for others, but you can do it. I'm telling you that you can do it. Focus on your growth. I want you to focus on where you see yourself. Give yourself a small goal and a small goal and a big goal. Focus on the small right now. Just the small. Just focus on the small steps now. Don't overburden yourself and think, oh, I'm going to do this. And no, in a second or in 5 minutes or in a week. No. Focus on growth. View this as an opportunity for your personal growth and creating healthier relationships in your future. So I just want you to reflect on this as I leave you. As everything that we've talked about, whether it's mental or soulful, you have the potential to enrich your life and detract from lives. Listen, encourage yourself. So one, I want you to reflect. Take time to examine the significant relationships in your lives and nature. And minister. I want to say minister and mature, be mature in what you do in terms of connection. I want you to minister. I said the right word. And I want you to speak to yourself to detract from anything, anything that is not good for you to be connected to. I want you to move away from it. I want you to discern, learn to differentiate between healthy and unhealthy bonds. I want you to discern it. Then I want you to be the empowerment. Understand that you have the be all in you and the healthiness in your mind for you to be able to connect the dots to move forward. It's in you. It's in you. I want you to know how to address the unhealthy relationships to move away from it. And I want you to have healing and hope moving forward. Just move forward with healing and hope, regardless of the depth or nature of the bond or the soul tie. Remember, keep hope alive in your life. I hope that this blessed you. I hope that what we talked about tonight brought some clarity, or it kind of brought some things back to you, some things maybe you need to attend to. And I pray God's blessing on you. I don't know why I look so cloudy on the screen. I think my lights are not good. My bad. That's my bad. But anyway, let's look at what we have in the chat. Let's look at what we have in the chat. I'm so happy that you hung out with me. I'm happy that you did. If you enjoyed this conversation, can you please put a one chat for me so I know how to continue to bring back things to the counseling corner? Let me know if this is something that you enjoyed. And as I move on out of here, I see no ones. That means no one enjoyed. No one enjoyed this conversation. Now I see the ones. All right, so let's put on something so we can move out. You said this was great. I'm going to put some comments up so that we can move forward. And so stay tuned for more from the Counseling Corner as I bring you more things to edify you, to help you get through your relationships, to help you get answers for yourself so you don't struggle We're trying to understand where you are. Yeah, that's what I want you to do. So I'm going to get on out of here, but I'm going to put these comments up before I do that so I can greet you in the right way. Let me just bring it down a little bit because I want to talk a little bit. All right, here we go. So let me go ahead and greet all of you that are here. All right, all right. Renee is greeting me. Nice to see you again. She checked my sound as always. Hello, niece. How are you? All right, Landon. How are you doing? They're chatting. They're chatting. Got some hearts. Renee says, we can't be afraid to step away for a moment. Flashback. Yes. Dawn says, ma'am, my flashback looked more like a whole movie. I get it. I so get that. Hello, Von Eric. How are you? So good to see you. Everyone's greeting each other. And Nay says, this was great. Vaughn enjoyed it. And Nay is clapping hands. I am so glad you hung out tonight with me. This was something so important to talk about. Stay tuned for more of the Counseling Corner here on Bravo with Sheila Network. More than likely, it'll solely be on Bravo with Sheila Network. But I did feel compelled to put it on the Sheila Ingram Ministry Network tonight as well. So it's streaming on both channels. So once again, I thank you so very much for being here. I had a good time chatting with you and sharing with you. So remember, what is tonight? Tuesday. Thursday night, we have Dawn B in the house. So come on over to Thursday night, Monday night, Dr. Elaine, Mondays Beyond the Mic. And then you have me sometimes right here doing counseling or some other things. But come on over to Sheila Ingram Ministry Network over there across the YouTube streets and check us out on Tuesday mornings with Pastor Rosa. Friday mornings with the Women of Grace. And then you have me Wednesday afternoons and all in between, and Monday prayer and Tuesday prayer, whenever I just pop on. Just subscribe to the channel, hit that like button for me. And remember, when nothing changes, nothing changes. I'm so happy to serve you. God bless you. And I will see you again. I want you to do this for me. I also will be putting a commercial up. I'll be putting a commercial up soon because my daughter created a game and it's called Pass or Play. I think that's what you call it. And it's amazing. We launched it today. Amazing game for you and your family. I'm telling you, you do not want to not have this game in your home. So I'm going to get a commercial up and put it on every show that we do to push that game out there. It's already being bought. It's just absolutely amazing. It's called Pass or Act. That's what it is. Pass or Act. So act or pass. Act or pass. That's what it is. Act or pass. So it's amazing. I'm going to have the commercial soon. And so it'll be in all the stores. It'll be everywhere. Amazon, everywhere. Soon. Anyway, I love you guys. And have a great evening. Know that when nothing changes, nothing changes. All right. Let me find something to get on out of here with. Hold on. Stay with me for the outro. Someone's still writing in the chat. I'm going to see what they're saying to me. It's been a great night here with you. I appreciate all of you. All of you. I'll see you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll see you again soon, okay? Ciao.